Welcome back to Painting with People, where I paint portraits with people that are pursuing their passions. Today's guest is Priscilla. She's a counselor, an author, and she was the Texas representative for Miss Kenya USA in 2023. Priscilla has a heart for destigmatizing the conversations around mental health, especially in the immigrant community. I hope you enjoy Painting with Priscilla. You ready?
As ready as I can be.
Yeah? Well, let's start by taking loose pictures.
Let's do that.
All right. Well, welcome, Priscilla.
Thank you, Kendall.
I'm excited for you. So do you have a favorite artist or a favorite painting?
Actually, I know this might sound cliche, but I really do like the Mona Lisa.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Now, have you been to Paris?
No.
Okay. I feel like I could see you
And I
on a
would
trip
love
there.
to go because, and then this is where maybe photo shoots come in because I'm like, I would love to do like a photo shoot there.
Yeah, same. Like, take photos and be in the photos.
Exactly.
Like, I want both.
Especially in Versailles.
Yes.
That would be amazing.
That would be so cool.
Okay. Oh my.
Yeah, I
Kendall,
don't.
why dost thou torture me? Okay, here goes.
I said paint pictures of each other. I promise we're gonna paint pictures of each other.
And it would be when the screen wants to lock. But it's good.
Oh my goodness. So Priscilla, tell me where you're from and what your childhood was like.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, I am from Nairobi, Kenya.
Ooh.
Okay, so that's where I lived for most of my childhood. But I was born in a town called Nyahururu. So it's about 3 hours from the city,
Okay.
being Nairobi. And my childhood was, I have moments where I remember it, like it's blurred, if that makes sense. But it was very much lively, lots of moving around because my dad was teaching.
Okay.
And he was also doing his studies in theology. So I do remember PK life, right? Going to crusades. And so for us, crusades were, the highlight where you're open air tent, like Billy Graham style.
Oh my gosh.
So I do remember that. I wasn't always the still child in those crusades, but I said, hey, people are moving around and worshiping.
Yeah, weren't they lively?
Yeah.
They were just dancing.
They were. I said, what is this?
I mean,
want some
I've
of
been
that
to a
too.
Kenyan church. Like, it's
Right.
dancing.
Yes. I mean, you get your full workout.
You get a workout.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, I definitely remember that. And I have a funny story. So, in one of the crusades, I wanted to challenge one of the young boys because it was always, oh, girls can't do this.
Oh, yeah?
And
So and you're like, oh, yeah, bet.
Right. So it was jumping from, like, the sewers in the middle, this huge, like, you could say river, which was sewage, and then to, like, the grassy area. So I said, well, I can do it. So I did it once. I was able to do it twice. Yeah, the third time I fell in. And I wasn't deep. But, I mean, I remember going in and coming out and standing, and everybody runs away. So, of course, I'm like, as a child, my instincts say I need to go find my mom to clean me up so that I can go back and play again.
Oh, no. How'd that work out for you?
I remember my mom literally taking my hand, and then I vaguely have a vision of her hosing me off from like a distance, like this, and telling me to like stand like this. Oh my gosh, right?
Oh my gosh.
So
just from a distance.
that's the memory that I have.
So what were some of the things that you liked to do as a child?
Swinging. I became obsessed with swinging.
Swinging?
Yes, but there's a cool story behind it. I never encountered a swing in my life. I mean, I saw them in books. Now, this is in Kenya.
Okay.
So never really encountered a swing. But when my dad moved here, so he moved to the States before us.
Okay.
At night, I would have dreams and we were swinging. And like, I would talk with him as he's pushing me on a swing set.
And you'd never been on one?
Never been on one, but the idea registered that this is playtime.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember explaining to my mom, and she was like, okay, so what did your dad tell you? I said, he keeps telling me that he's going to come back on this date. And my mom was like, what? And that was the exact date.
Oh my gosh.
So,
this is so cool.
right? So then when we moved to Austin, we were renting, and the apartment had this huge playground with literally this huge, pretty area with 2 swing sets.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just like, oh, this is what I would see in my dream.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So yes, so swinging
That's so
became
special.
Yeah, it became like this moment where I would swing and I would sing, and so the neighbors got to know us forcefully.
Yeah, right.
By, oh, she loves to sing, you know. So
Yeah, and so you have 2 older siblings.
yes.
Okay, how much, if you don't mind me asking, how much older, how many years?
So my brother is, oh my goodness.
Or approximate,
We
you
have,
don't have to.
let me see, 7-year difference, I would say, with my brother.
Okay.
And then a 5-year difference. 6-year difference with my brother, and then 5-year with my sister.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So they're pretty close in age.
Oh, yes.
Wow. And there's a gap for little Priscilla.
I know. My dad says, oh, you were my precious dynamite. You know, you just popped into the scene. And I'm like, oh, yes.
So today,
Uh-huh.
vocationally, you are a counselor.
Yes.
And it's official. Like you're fully licensed practicing. That's so exciting.
Fully licensed. Oh, was it a journey? Was it a journey?
Well, so tell me about that. How did you come about wanting to be a counselor? And then what was the process like?
Okay. I want to rewind back to my bachelor's. So I came in wanting I wanted to be a vet. I was just like, I'm going to be a vet. I'm going to go.
You do love animals.
Yes, I love animals. I'm going to go out to the savannah. I'm going
Oh my gosh.
be one of the people that works with National Geographics.
Yeah.
So that was my dream, you know. Well, of course, you have to get these grades, right? You have to get these grades to be able to do this amazing dream that you have in your heart. Well, I was not able to pass OChem at all. It just was not my best friend. So that being said, my advisor, who I'm like God sent, she was like, you know, you're really good at people. You tell me how your friends love to hear, you know, you give them good advice. And I was like, yeah. But the thought of sitting in a counseling office and having to do this infinitely, I do definitely celebrate, you know, counselors that want to do this, do the in-clinical practice, have people come into the office. But there was an educational side that I wanted to go into the places where the stigma was high and be able to empower people to pursue their mental health, right? From a place of no judgment. But I just couldn't put it into words yet. So upon switching my majors from biology to chemistry, everything clicked. The classes made sense.
Oh, wow.
Even my GPA clicked.
Wow.
So that was exciting to see. And then, I pursued my counseling degree at TWU. And now, this is where the plot twist came. So, of course, you graduate, good grades, everything. And now it's time to get your hours. And I didn't know how to put into words that I don't want to do it in the way that is normally done.
In like a traditional...
In the traditional way.
Okay.
And so there was a lot of kind of battling with self of, did I do this just to complete it, or am I doing this to almost get it done? But I knew I had to stick to the goal of, I know I want to empower people to take charge of their mental health. So I ended up I had been working at the public health department for a while. And that is where I realized, oh, you can do this. You can educate from an informal place and not have to do it the traditional way. So with that being said, I sat for my hours. I was able to get them done and supervised, you know, correctly. And I had people in my corner who kind of encouraged me that you don't have to do it in this way.
Yeah.
That as long as, of course, you know, you're meeting the requirements as you should, it doesn't have to look this way. The way you output it, if that makes sense. getting the hours, of course, has to look in the requirements, but the output of how you want to do counseling is all up to you. So yeah, I became fully licensed in April.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes, this was a journey. I remember staring. My mom is the one who went to check the mail, and she saw the envelope from the state, and she laid it in front of me. And you have those moments where I'm literally holding a dream.
Oh my gosh.
This literally happened.
So what are your next steps now? Because that's very recent still.
Yes. So my next steps are I'm actually looking to pursue a PhD program. I know it never stops. Never. Do you like having big hair?
Girl.
Timesies.
Maybe it's prophetic. I don't know.
Okay.
We are in the South. I mean, you give me what you feel like I need.
Yes, so I'm looking to pursue a PhD program.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
I know. In educational, organizational leadership. So I think that ties back to, saying that I want to do counseling in a non-traditional way.
Uh-huh.
And go into organizations that empower wellness and well-being, or start one myself to where it creates and fosters healthy work environments.
Okay.
So kind of looking at it.
Very needed right now.
Very, very needed. And it's good to have well-being workshops. All of these things are amazing. However, I think it goes deeper than that. Then once, let's say, the organization or the staff feel empowered, that was nice, you brought it to attention, but the problems are still
Where do you
there.
go from here?
Exactly.
Like, how do we fix this?
Yes, and create that culture of, yes, we do workshop trainings, we may do this, but this is our mission and our vision to make sure that your well-being does come first, and there isn't that burnout, so to speak. So
have you done any of these workshops, or have you done anything in that realm yet, like in practice?
You could say maybe from when I'm asked to go speak, I tend to be asked to go present on mental health in the immigrant community. And so I think speaking there to parents and kind of, I guess in that aspect, empowering the family to how do you create healthy organizational structures in your family? Especially as children of immigrants, that tends to be a difficult thing to navigate because you're wanting to maintain a culture. Culture is beautiful, but at the same time, you do have to acknowledge that you are in this new place. And so
That's hard.
How do you keep your essence, but embrace where you are,
Yeah.
And so going in and just
Which you've lived out.
Yes. And that even in itself was, gosh, you kind of look back and you ask yourself, if I struggle with how did my parents do it? Because they came in here to chart a new path.
Yeah.
And whereas I'm having the space to navigate these, quote unquote, one would say existential crisis scenarios, they didn't have that time.
Right.
And if they did, it was, of course, as a parent, you may not be able to show those vulnerable moments.
Right.
Not saying that you're hiding them, but
it's different because you want to show up in front of your kids.
Exactly. So
safety and
right. So that tends to make me even more passionate to empower parents and celebrate my own in the realm of, wow, they did this. They were brave enough to start a new path while navigating their own maybe unresolved traumas, while taking on new ones because you're in a new space.
So how was the transition? I mean, you were pretty young, but I mean, not too young to not remember things.
Yeah.
Do you remember much about the transitions?
Just enough. I do remember being in high school and, you have athletics where there's Parents' Day and, well, senior year is when it really hit, right?
Okay.
Because senior year is when your parents are supposed to attend things, and it really hit me that, oh my goodness, my parents don't have the space to do that because they're working. They have to work.
Right.
And so my sister or my brother would have to sit in and be mom or dad.
Oh.
And come to when I played sports and walk me, how they do senior night.
Yeah. Oh, your siblings did that.
So that's when, those are the moments that I reflect back and I'm like, wow, okay.
Wow.
And then I remember my dad, he'd come home from working a night shift and sleep and probably get up, let's say mid-afternoon, and kind of do some stuff and then go back to bed because he would get up and do the other night shift.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, Dad, I did band.
Okay.
We have a presentation, we have an event. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna come. And the highlight of my event was, even if it was towards the end, seeing him stand back there. And he stood for and I knew he was tired because he was like standing with his hands in his pocket, leaned against the wall. Because some parents were standing, some parents were sitting. And to me, I was like, that's it. I just needed to see him.
Yeah.
And to be able to say, my dad came. And
Yeah.
so it's those moments where I really get passionate about that mental health piece of empowering parents. Like, hey, even when you feel like your child is not listening, trust me, I know you do a lot. And I will help them to be able to see that. But let me help you be able to understand them too.
So you were in the Austin-ish area until college.
No, so we moved to Atlanta.
Oh.
Yeah. So came to Austin in 97, then moved to Atlanta was a blur. When you ask me, I think it was good. I remember we swam a lot. We made friends. So Atlanta was good. Then moved to Waco, where Dad was doing his PhD at Baylor.
Okay, so you came back. And that's where because I knew you were in the Central Texas area.
Yes. Then we lived in Troy for a little bit, which is a small town near Temple, which is closer to Fort Hood. So once you say that, people are like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then went through high school. High school was amazing. Like, from elementary to high school. We lived in Troy. It was awesome. Small town. So, everything kind of stays the same. And then my brother got accepted to UNT.
Okay.
And the little sister was like, I'm going to follow you wherever you go.
So while you're getting your counseling degree, right? Is that what you would call in license?
Yes.
You decided that wasn't enough and wrote a book.
I know. Yes. Called Seated, My Journey to Becoming.
I love it. Tell me about the book.
Yes. So well, everybody always asks me, did you see yourself becoming an author? No. So the book is about, honestly, kind of what we've been talking about, but really condensed, right? The details of, struggling to navigate to a new environment while owning and celebrating my difference and who I am as an African woman. So I touch on that and navigating my relationship with God and being content with even the family he placed me in, right? I think we all kind of hit that space where we struggle with that. Like, what is this? Who are these people? And even my journey in accepting like, hey, I want to do counseling, but it's okay if I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And also surrendering the fact that I don't know everything, because there were some moments where ego kicked in.
Oh gosh, freaking egos.
And you're just like, oh, I got this, after taking one class, like really one class of counseling, and you just feel, and so I think it's just that excitement of being in a new field or embracing something that finally clicked for me. But at the same time, being knowledgeable of, I really didn't know everything.
That's hard to admit.
It is. And it's that excitement is good. But I think giving yourself the space to soak it in and say, I can still be teachable.
Oh, yeah. I think there's, you go through like a journey, like, oh, I want to learn something new. And you start learning things, and then you're like, oh, wow, I just learned a lot. And a little bit more. And then you're like, wait a minute, there's a lot I don't know. I don't know anything.
Yeah. Exactly. So and I think that's probably also what led to sometimes resenting and feeling as if I didn't want to do counseling, because you're just trying to fit, what is it, the circle in a square peg?
Yeah.
But it's also like, just embrace everything. And in that embracing everything, you'll figure out what you want. You'll figure out what is even for you. So, yeah. So that's the book. And I was able to also print it in Kenya, which was
oh my gosh,
kind of a big deal for me.
Is so cool.
Yeah. And making it accessible to, my roots, the people that I knew I wanted to read this story.
Yeah.
And so that was awesome. And won an award for best author of the year in the young category.
What?
Yeah, with the African Christian authors.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Which was another God thing. I did not even know about them. And there was a lady I wanted to print with, and she was like, I'd advise that maybe you reach out to them. I think they can give you more than what you're asking of me. And I remember saying, okay, well, right. And when I did, they definitely did.
Wow.
And they're the ones who were able to print my book in Kenya.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah. So yes, the authorship journey was, I thought I was done. And, it really was a good experience. But, your name travels far. So then I was approached by Miss Kenya USA to be a contestant. Yes.
Yay.
So I will be journeying into the pageant world, which felt like a Princess Diaries moment.
Right?
I was like, what?
So tell me about this Miss Kenya thing. Like, what is the goal? What does it represent?
Right.
What do you have to do?
So the goal is to empower young women so that everyone has a platform, right? And if you don't, you sit down and you kind of think of what would be your platform upon competing. What are you wanting to empower women through? And so mine is through mental health and erasing that stigma in the immigrant community. And yeah, so Miss Kenya looks to do that and create just even opportunities for women who participate to launch themselves. Like if you have a business, or if you have a platform or philanthropy that you're passionate about. Yeah. So that is what they do. And they've had how many queens? Almost 5 queens so far.
Okay.
So they had to pause during COVID.
Right. So it's Miss Kenya.
Miss Kenya USA.
USA.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We should probably wrap it up. You ready? You need a little bit more time? I need just like 1 minute, I think.
Kendall, I need 20 days. And
well, let me tell you,
minutes.
this is not a completed painting what I have. It is very much a rough sketch, if you will. So, no pressure.
I don't even have your sandals done.
My sandals? Oh my gosh. Girl, I just did your portrait. Did you went all out? And on the count 3, we'll turn. Ready? 1, 2, 3. It's amazing!
Kendall!
I love it! I love that you let my hair down.
I said, do you want big hair? How else? I love it. I love the colors.
Oh